What's going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to another solo leveling Arise video. Alright guys, before we start this video, I do want to remind everybody the weapon is not out yet. It's coming out May 22nd, and this information can in fact change. We've seen it before where they have the weapon in the game and all the tooltips as well as the max levels, and then of course when the game releases the weapon officially, things in the tooltips do change. So please take this as it can be altered by the devs when it comes out. Okay, so the actual weapon, Sunjanu's weapon overview, is currently available if you want to check it out. I was going to not do this, but a lot of people have asked me to actually cover it, and I do think this weapon is an absolute beast of a weapon, and I do want to talk a little bit about it, including why I think water still is requiring a little bit of love. Okay, so first off, let's talk about the weapon. This is the Winter's Fang. I'm going to look at the max level of this. There is actual gameplay of the weapon if you want to look at it at any point on the Japanese live stream. The only problem with this Japanese live stream, and especially with a weapon, is that it kind of bugs out in the battle. And you'll see here when the fight starts, the weapon does go off, right? You'll see right about shortly coming up very soon. Right there, 1, 2, right? Only does it twice there, unfortunately. Normally you can do it more times than that. And you can see all the weapons and effects buffs there. But eventually, unfortunately, SJW does kind of lag out in this build, and he becomes invincible. I have no idea why, or visible, so you can't really see the animations anymore and stuff. But essentially what happens is this scythe is a very fast attacking weapon, unlike the Shadow Scythe, does have super armor, and also does a back attack. You can see right there. So it looks like having the back attack blessing might actually be really good with the scythe. Something to keep in mind. Now, again, this animation can change. This whole look can change. This is a test build, but I'm pretty sure animation-wise they're going to keep it the same. The only thing that may change, again, is the tooltips and how this thing functions. So, how does it function, and why is this weapon going to be freaking OP? Now, before I go into those details, I want to remind everybody, again, the content creator program is going on, guys. We are going to be giving away tons of codes this season. If you're not supporting, click that support button. I'll be sending you guys mana power extracts, plus 150 rune stones, plus 1,000 essence stones is coming down the pipe very, very soon, either today or tomorrow. So I'll be sending that out as well, too, plus other codes. 5 more on top of that are going to be coming as well, too. Plus, Zaf and I, plus three special guests are going to be having a collab next week that's going to be dropping officially for you guys to view. It's going to be incredible, so please stay tuned. Plus, we're all going to have exclusive codes to give you guys specifically on those people who participated from Netmarble. So very, very excited, guys, to talk all about that. Now, let's go back over to the weapon real quick and have a little discussion over what this weapon is and why it's going to be so damn good. All right, so Winter Fang. Let's just talk about what it does. First off, the skills. Damage 1,848% of Jinu's attack, so it is attack based. There's no other features here, HP or defense. Deals water damage, of course, causes airborne, and gains super armor when using the skill. So that is going to be the main skill for this weapon. Okay, so everybody understands what that is. If you want to click on the view details part of it, you can't right now because, of course, the weapon is not out yet, right? So just keep that in mind. So when the user equips the title Wolf Assassin, now this is the Blessing Stone. And the cool thing about this is they're not really giving you a specific rarity, so you can probably go from rare to heroic to legendary to mythic. It doesn't matter. You're going to get this buff. When the user's current power gauge is at 30% or higher while using Wolf Shadow becomes Wolf's Echoes for 3 seconds, and Wolf's Echo essentially does this. It consumes 30% of your power gauge, gives you super armor, and the user swings the scythe powerfully, leaving Echo Wolves on the battlefield. This also gives you isolation, which is the buff you'll get from the Wolf Assassin Blessing Stone, increasing the damage dealt by 30% of this weapon, also increasing critical hit damage by 30%. Now, it doesn't say that this only applies to the weapon, by the way. This might be in general what you get, period, right? Because you can see here, it activates the Blessing Wolf isolation. Now, if you don't know what Blessing Wolf does, it actually does damage to normal mobs. That actually will change automatically to this instead, which makes it extremely powerful. And again, this doesn't say that it's only for the weapon. This is probably going to be damage increase in total, period, for you, plus critical hit damage. Now, again, going back to the video, I want to show you guys real quick. You'll notice the power gauge here, right? I'm just going to rewind just a couple seconds here. The power gauge actually does get consumed whenever he does this move. So right there, look at that. See how it went down? I don't know if you guys noticed that, right? It was full originally, and then it went down, and look, it's still going down, right? So watch it again. Boom. Consumption. All right, so your power gauge will get consumed when that move happens, so keep that in mind, but it is compensating it when you're equipping the proper Blessing Stone, which increases your damage by 30% and increases critical hit damage by 30%, which I think is pretty damn good as a consolation prize. All right. So when the user uses Echo Wolves and the Wolf's Echo skill becomes White Wolves for 3 seconds. When the user uses a Water Elemental skill, their power gauge recharges by 10 seconds. You guys can see you'll make up for it. So this is a very much a water heavy build. If you want to consume your power gauge and then recharge it, this is the way to do it. You have to use water skills. One thing I will say, water skills are kind of shitty in this game at the moment, so I hope they introduce a better one eventually for us. So when Wolf's Shadow or Wolf's Echo hits and activates the silver mark effect on the target for 0.5 seconds as a cooldown, when the user is hit in the air while using White Wolf's Night, it activates Extreme Evasion. So White Wolf's Night, same as White Wolf's Shadow in terms of damage. The user appears to strike the enemy within a moment, so still that not even a breath could escape. So as you guys can see, I believe this is what looks like the move from behind. I could be wrong, but it looks pretty damn incredible. And then Silver Mark increases the damage of White Wolf's Knife by 55%. The user gains super armor while this is active. Duration is for 3 seconds. All right. So again, really, really cool buff here, and looks like to be an incredibly powerful A1. So the user's water damage increases by 10% for A2. When the user enters the stage, their power gauge is charged by 50%. So you're already starting at 50% here the moment you get that. Now, if we go back to this video again, right? Let me just go back for a second. Let's just see when he starts the fight, what happens with his power gauge. Okay, so let's just see. When he loads in, you should see 50% power gauge increase because I believe he has an 810 version of this or A5 version of this weapon. So let's make sure that actually does show in the test build that they have. And there it is, right? You guys can see the 50% instantly is active right there. And there's, of course, the skill. So that is instantly noticeable and activated right away. So that's a really cool thing as well. So that's available. Now, using the Wolf's Shadow or Wolf's Echo activates the Dusk effect, increases the critical hit rate of Wolf's Shadow, Wolf's Echoes, and White Wolf's Night by 15%, increases critical hit damage of them as well, too, by 40%. So you're getting more crit and more crit damage for a duration of 3 seconds whenever you do Wolf's Shadow or Wolf's Echo. So again, making this an extremely hard hitting weapon at A3 now. Right now, the cooldown of Wolf's Shadow is then decreased by 20%. Of course, you can spam it more often. And then the Dusk and Silver Mark effects are enhanced now. Increases critical hit rate by 25% for all the skills. Critical hit damage by 80%, and then increases the water damage of all those skills by 80% for 3 seconds. And then their Silver Mark effect increases the damage of White Wolf's Night by 55%, 3 seconds, but now it stacks 2 times. All right, now let's just kind of go back and see if we can see some of this happen. All right, let's just see if some of these buffs will actually apply when he does the skill. So you can see he does a break there, another skill there, and then that's where he starts doing the skill. Now you can see this one right here, right? These are the 2 skills right there we're talking about. Well, actually right there, specifically the Dusk one. So if we go back to here, that skill is this right here, the Dusk. So this is 25% more crit rate, 80% more crit damage, and 80% more water damage. So that's already been activated right there. Let's see what else activates. You guys can see there's no wolves here. There's no summoning of wolves. I think it's just the name. I don't think there's actually any summons. Now this right here, what is that? Can we see that effect anywhere? No, I don't seem to see it. So it doesn't also look like they have isolation on, so they're definitely not using the Blessing Stone guys. I'm trying to see if there's the silver mark on there anywhere. No, I still don't see it. So some of these things, some of these buffs I'm seeing, I'm not really noticing. This is Soren's buff. That might be Limitless, I think. I mean, I could be wrong what that is. I'm not sure what that buff is or debuff, but let's just see when he does the skills again with the scythe. So I'm like squinting. I don't need to squint. I have 20/20 vision, but I'm always like, that's just the look I have whenever I'm concentrating. Okay, there it is right there. So again, there's Dusk. It's really fast. So you got to spam it pretty much, and it's gone. All right, so there you guys go. A little bit of the thing in action. So this weapon is looking, guys, to be extremely powerful. I would highly recommend, if anyone's going to use this, you may want to stick it with the Grimoire instead of the Scatty, which is what they keep recommending here. No idea why, but I would highly, highly recommend going with this recommended setup for sure over what they're recommending originally, which was, or what they're doing in the video, which was a Scatty. So avoid that completely. So guys, I think this weapon is going to be an absolute monster. Is it going to be better than Stormbringer and DKD and wind skills? I'm not sure, because I think wind skills are overall better than water skills. So that alone takes away from it and gives DKD and the Stormbringer a lot more usability, in my opinion. But as a standalone weapon, this is one of the strongest weapons I've seen in the game so far. But we'll have to see what it looks like in action when it actually comes out. If the tooltips are the same, you might be looking at a brand new King of DPS weapon just because of all the crazy buffs that it offers. All right, guys, this is Payne. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.